Hello, and welcome to the moment. It's been a while since I did a moment, but I felt compelled to go live in this moment in time because I feel like doing a mental health check on everybody. I know for me, I've been uh, getting through each day, and it's been a very interesting time. Things are happening left and right in so many levels and so many different layers of our day-to-day existence, in politics, in technology, in the economy. Everything is changing so quickly, and we are all really doing our best to navigate through it. And so I just wanted to come on live and see if anybody was out there who wanted to necessarily talk, maybe, or had any questions or thoughts about what's going on. I am going to put a link in the chat for you to join me. So if anybody is out there alive and wants to join me on StreamYard, there is a link coming through in the chat for you guys. You can join me and you can chat with me. Looks like it went through on the Moments page and the Live Stream of Consciousness's page, but not on my personal page. I don't know if this is even live on my personal page. But anyway, this is a crazy moment in humanity. I don't know if you guys know about my show, The Live Stream of Consciousness, where I talk about consciousness and spirituality. But if you do watch the show or you're into that kind of thing, you know that there is a shift happening, right? A spirituality shift, a shift in consciousness, a shift in vibration, a shift in perception, the way that we see things as humans. And it's a good thing and it's not a good thing. I think there are people out there who are clinging very tightly to their belief systems, old, dated belief systems that at one point I think were valid, but at this point I think have become corrupt. And this is just my opinion. You can't really talk about politics anymore without somebody being triggered because you're wrong and they're right. And that's really more of my point. And what I want to discuss is the idea of you're wrong and I'm right, no matter what people say. I've made some posts on Facebook, and they get responded to in ways that are think that I'm saying something that I'm not because of the political climate. If I say anything slightly democratic, it's like I'm supporting Kamala and not supporting Trump. If I say anything slightly conservative, it's like I'm against Kamala and supporting Trump, and that is just not the case. And it's just crazy how it's become that way. So I don't know what your thoughts are. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments or down below in the comments if you're watching the replay. this is the moment that we're in right now, the moment in humanity. Again, you can look at it in fear and look at all of the political stuff that's going on, or you can look at, and even AI, and look at AI in fear, or you can look at the political stuff that's going on and AI in hopes that they are going to change. Things are going to change for humanity. And I do see a soul out there. What's up, Janice? Good to see you. I just decided to go live in the moment and talk about the moment that we're in humanity, and the shift that's happening, the shift in perception. It's very interesting to talk to many different people about the shift and how some people perceive it. Some people believe that this shift is from a three-dimensional world to a five-dimensional world, and there will actually be a physical shift in dimension that we will experience now. That could be so. I understand that belief. I think the belief in the shift is going to be more perceptual, and that we'll be able to perceive the fifth dimension. I don't think that means that the third dimension is going to necessarily change physically. I think the things that will change will be the economic situation, the political situation, the resource situation on Earth. I do think that things are going to get tough in the third dimension. And I think that, people who are able to perceive the fifth dimension will be able to figure out how to deal with that much easier than people who are going to be in the third dimension and just kind of trying to deal with it with old school three-dimensional ways and tools and ideas. I think fifth dimensional ideas will be much more powerful. I think fifth dimensional experience will open us up to the powers inside of us. I think things like telepathy and telekinesis and things that you know are studied and I guess sometimes considered theoretical, are based on you know things that I think aren't theoretical. And again, that's my opinion. I'm not versed enough to spout uh, absolute truth and knowledge here, but just my perception, and that's really the whole point of this whole platform. And the reason that I do this is to hold up my puzzle piece, and so people can see what the edges all look like and say, oh wait, I see that my edge looks a little like that, and will fit, boom, right there. And we fit together and we talk, and now we have a bigger piece of the puzzle to look at together. So that's the way I see it. And I just, like I said, I figured it was the moment was an idea I had come up with couple of years ago for a show, and the show would always be focused on the moment and talk to somebody and hold space for a guest and talk about their moment in life. I remember I wanted to do Adam and the Metal Hawks. They're huge now, but hopefully maybe I could get them to do an episode of the moment, because they're experiencing an incredible moment in their existence. And that's an example of hope. I look at some of my friends in Adam and the Metal Hawks, and they're a young band on the road touring, going around the world, playing concerts, having fun, existing in this world of music. And that's what their whole world is. Their world isn't politics. They don't ever go out there and talk about politics on stage. Their world is music and fun and creation and community and fun. And I think that that's what this world needs. I think the world needs more fun, less focus on all of this, the serious stuff. I think the serious stuff should be growing food, the basic survival needs that have been all industrialized and corporatized, back into the hands of the people. Remember when we were all farmers and blacksmiths, and we would barter. I think that those times are calling once again, and maybe that's what'll happen. Maybe that's how we will deal with an economic crash. Resources becoming very scarce. We will survive as a human race, I think, and the people who will survive the best will be the ones who are helping each other. And I think, will there be marauders? Yeah, there's always good, there's always evil. I think that's going to exist, but I don't think that lifestyle is not the lifestyle I see for me. But whatever. I mean, I guess it's fun for cosplay and that kind of thing. But anyway, here I am in the moment. I don't know, Janice, if you're still out there, if you saw the link and you want to come join me. I did invite anybody who wants to come on to a link in the comments. I could put the link up on the screen as well. However, it will be a ridiculous link. Let's see if I save this and then I show it. No, it's going to scroll across the bottom. I don't want to do that. I would much rather just leave it be there. So, I hate putting that up and asking anyone to type that in, but if you have an inkling to join me, then you should. I just saw an excellent meme that was like, used all of the words like, and took off the prefix of inadequate if it was inadequate. They made it at the word adequate, and they made sentences out of that. And look at that. I have a taker. I have a wonderful guest in the moment. It is the beautiful Quiet Healer. Hey, Janice.
Hey, how are you?
What's happening?
Not much.
Oh, no. Can you do me a favor?
You can ask me to go this way.
Uh-huh. How much better is that? That's so much better.
Yes.
So how's it going?
It is going good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing this thing about the
Mm-hmm.
moment. I'm checking in. I want to check on everybody's mental health and their thoughts about the moment, what's going on in the world right now, and how people are dealing with it.
That's loaded.
Yeah, it is. It's a loaded question, but I think it's an important conversation. That's what made me want to come on live. I mean, again, I don't know if you just caught me, but I was basically talking about, you can't really get political because, and if people want to get political, they can. I'm not saying not to, but what I'm saying is, the minute I would post something, either the slightest bit left, people jump on me and say, oh, you want Kamala, you're against Trump. Or if I go the slightest bit right, oh, you're against Kamala. And it's like, I didn't say any of that in what I was saying. People just jump to the conclusion of that's what I'm trying to say because it's a reflection of them. And so I was just basically saying that I was just talking about that's the climate. People are ready to jump on you and not really ready to be compassionate and realize, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had seen two friends of mine that were like, when I was, a young boy, my neighbors and old friends, and just arguing on Facebook over the silliest stuff. So
It's extremely heightened right now. It's extremely deliberately. I really feel that that is the right word.
mm,
Divisive. It is the chasm has grown to the point of where there could possibly be difficulty making a bridge.
mm, mm,
And
and
we see it in families.
mm,
To me, this is very, you know, what I do. So when Spirit told me in 2020 we were hitting and repeating It's very easy for me to see the repeats, but they're not linear repeats. Will
Mhm,
there be a civil war? I don't know.
mhm,
I have my feelings, trying to keep my feelings to myself about that. But what
mhm,
I can see is the political chargedness is very much that of the Civil War. It's not a matter of slavery or anti-slavery.
right,
Very different, but very similar. And it is tearing families apart. It is tearing friendships apart.
right. Yeah, yeah, it is pretty nuts. I mean, my personal thoughts are, I think if it starts coming down to that and people do start shooting each other, they'll realize quickly what that actually means. You know what I mean? And maybe not be so into it, but I think that that, like you said, it's deliberate, and I agree with you. I'm not huge, like everything in my life is about conspiracy theory, but I do believe that we are deliberately being pitted against one another so that we're not aiming our guns at the government, or at the people who are pitting us up against each other. And it's an old, I guess, a cliche kind of view of politics, and it's kind of a dark view of it, but I think that's what's coming to light, is that that's what is going on, and I hope so. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are sick of the conversation,
Yeah,
that's happening, and
absolutely.
and 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 the players that are having that conversation.
And there are
So,
too many players. There's not enough people stepping back and questioning. They don't want you to question, they want you to fight. And that's unfortunate because when you stop and you question, and there are more questions than answers, then they all start looking at the same place.
mhm, yeah, yeah, and I guess it seems to me like I do see a lot of, in the community that I'm in, I do see a lot of like questioning and saying and basically stating like, wait a second, something's wrong here. But it's like, what do we do? And I feel like power in numbers, right? Like if we realized, oh, all we need to do is get together. But I feel like we're kind of at that point, and I'm hoping that's what happens. Is that we get together, or some candidates come out of the woods, and into the light. I mean, I know. It's interesting because I feel like the time is ripe for a lot of candidates to pop up out of the woods that are just going to be complete nut jobs. And just
Yes.
and just taking advantage of like, what, people are waiting for someone to pop out of the woods, and so they're going to be like, I'm going to be the one popping out of the woods, but maybe not so qualified. But who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe the right person will pop out of the woods. I mean, I know, one of my workmates, Freddie, I talk to him all the time about El Salvador and what happened there with that country. And, that country became the safest country in the world. And it was like crime ridden. And, it's a much, much smaller country. So it probably would take a lot more to do that in the United States. But it was done, right? It's almost like the 4-minute mile, right? Like once it's done and we know it can be done, then more it gets done more and more. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping. That's what my vote is.
Yes, I mean, I agree. There's a lot that needs to be done to cultivate the change.
Mhm.
However, that means people stepping back, looking at both sides, seeing it's not all black and white. It's not one side or the other. There's a lot to be done in the middle.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
also I think stepping back and not just looking at both sides, but also looking inside, right? And realizing like, okay, I may not be able to change what's going on the left or the right or whichever side I don't like, but I can change myself and how I treat people. right? And again, that's really going back to what I was talking about seeing the way people are treating each other and talking to each other on social media. It's like back to pre-COVID or COVID, like there was a time when it was just so bad, and then it started getting a little better. And I guess election season comes up and
It
brings out
gets
the
very
best in everybody, right?
it gets very messy every 4 years. So, yes. And yes, you do have to take a step back, but that's where the middle is found.
Right.
I know personally that where I stand, I have several close friends that know where I stand politically,
Hmm.
but it doesn't necessarily where they stand. But here's where the stepping back and seeing each other as human beings and working together and saying, okay, I get where you're coming from. Okay, I get where you're coming from. So there is some sort of middle. Right now, that middle has become the great divide.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find that middle. That's all I was really saying. And yes, it starts with you. It's like saying, okay, you're the left, I'm the right, but you're not all wrong and I'm not all wrong. And we're not, neither of us is bad. And that's
Right.
really what it comes down to, is making people see each other from that negative lens rather than the positive lens.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I believe, and we've discussed this, that I think, the media's influence on the narrative of, oh, this side, if you're on this side, that means you don't really care about, freedom or the country, right? And that could be said on
On
both
both.
sides,
Yep.
that's being said. So it's like, just kind of realizing, that we've all got to take a step back, and hug each other, not fight with each other, you know.
Yes.
So,
It's
um,
also important to stop and question the media. They're very good at asking questions, but they're not very good at listening to answers.
oh no, yeah, definitely not.
I
And then,
don't watch the news anymore. I've given up on the news. They
yeah,
don't tell me the truth.
it would seem that way for sure, for sure. So, well, let's talk about the good stuff that's happening in the moment, right? So, I also was talking about the shift, right, which is can be looked at as a shift in perception, a raising of the vibration. What are your thoughts on where we're at with that as far as humanity?
The shift, I feel, has, if it hasn't already occurred, is well underway, and you can see that in a lot of different ways. It's not going to be magically certain people just drifted up. It's a vibrational thing,
Hmm.
but in a physical sense, they're like, pay attention to how people drive. Are they driving in the same lines you're driving?
Hmm.
And how, I mean, just today, stop signs are not stoptional. Sorry, that is my PSA for the day. Having almost been T-boned twice by people who just don't see the stop sign,
Right.
or people who veer into your lane.
Right.
Those are vibrational shifts where they think their lines are straight and you think your lines are straight, but as they in the Ghostbusters, it's like crossing the lines is dangerous. I kind of think that's where we're at right now. People are
Yeah.
trying to cross the line.
Well, yeah, but I think like there are people who, I guess, so there's both sides, right? There's the duality of people who have taken a deep breath, have slowed down a bit, and are looking around and looking out for other people and being intentional that way. And then there's people who have sped up a little bit and been like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I got to get where I'm going before this is all over or something. And they're going crazy and driving around you like a lunatic. So yeah, I get
Right.
that. Can I?
But
I'm going to
it's
ask
that
you. I'm going to ask you another
good
favor.
thing. And
You know
you're
what?
not trying to get me to stop moving. I can't. My hands are getting tired.
Can you put the phone on the table or something?
I can try.
Well, because you know why? Because if I want to cut this into clips,
Hmm.
your face is going to be going like this all over the place. Come on, I thought I showed
I
you
know
what.
you trained me better than this, but I'm watching on my phone and not my computer.
Well, you know what? I appreciate you jumping on and keeping me company, so I'm not just yapping out into the void. But like I said, I was looking at the screen, and I was just thinking, like, you know what, I can dick around on social media, or I can go online and just speak about what's on my mind, either to myself or to anybody who shows up, and then it will be there for as long as I decide to let it post until I decide to erase it. So I appreciate you not making me look like a crazy person.
We're not crazy.
Yeah.
A little strange, but not crazy.
I do have a text here from my friend Gray, who is said he can call me in about 5 minutes if I want. So I think I'm going to end this moment, but it means a lot to me that you are the one who came on to share this moment with me. So thank you.
And have a great night.
Yeah. And, if you catch in the replay, check out the live stream of consciousness on Thursday nights on YouTube. That's my show. Or you can check out the Quiet Healer over here, and Unique Peace, usually on Sundays, sometimes on Wednesdays. An amazing show talking about how people find peace and sharing lots of tips and tricks and tools on how to do that. So good to see everybody. Spread love, be love. Don't be afraid of the future. We're here all together, and we'll see you soon.
Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.